Fitness Graduate Assistant at the University of Mississippi and your NIRSA student leader.
I'm Anna Taggart. I'm the fitness director with Texas A&M University.
We're here to talk all things fitness. So if you want to go ahead and drop in the chat who you are, where you're from, we'd love to see who's here joining us this morning. And as you do that, I'm just going to let you know a couple things. So this session is being recorded and will be posted to the NIRSA Ideas in Motion webpage. The chat will also be posted on that webpage as well. Please ensure that you're muted whenever you're not talking. When you came in, you were muted, everyone was. So if you have something to say, please just unmute yourself and jump in. You can also utilize the chat box like we're doing today for questions and comments. And then use our NIRSA Connect page as well for fitness, the fitness directors page on Facebook to continue to connect and have some further conversations and for resource sharing. Some guidelines for participation today. So let's just make sure that we respect each other and create that safe space. We want to view this room as a no judgment zone and acknowledge that everyone is subject to their own ideas and viewpoints. There's not a one size fits all for anything that we talk about today. Each university is different, your students are different, your culture is different. So we just want to make sure that we recognize and acknowledge all of those things. And we want to avoid specific comments on COVID-19 symptoms, quarantine responses, government responses. While some of our conversation might derive from what we've had to do in response to it, we want to avoid some of those mass topics. We wanted to go ahead and take a moment just to recognize the stuff that we talked about on last week's roundtable. So in case you're joining us for the first time on this fitness roundtable, we have some different topics for today, but we wanted to give credit to the things that we talked about last time. So we hit a lot on our virtual group fitness classes. So in terms of music, maybe platforms and methods for getting those classes out there. We talked about personal training, technology, tracking, and assessment. And then refunds of passes, sessions, student fees. And if you're interested in talking about any of those topics and maybe they don't have the opportunity to get covered today, go ahead to the NIRSA Ideas in Motion webpage and find that roundtable from last Monday. And you can read the chat or tune into the video to see any of those topics. Anna's going to kick us off with our first topic.
Cool. So we got a lot of, we've kind of been monitoring the Collegiate Fitness Directors page on topics that seem to come up often, and also the NIRSA Connect page. And one of the topics we didn't really get to that much is liability. So these are just some examples of things, but we want to hear from you all in regards to what you're doing with liability issues, in regards to waivers, specifically personal training. If they're training off campus from home, same thing. I know we talked a little bit on it about group fitness instructors who are teaching from home, and things regarding insurance or workers' comp. What types of things are you all doing at your campuses around this issue?
I can speak to that. Hi, Tanika Santos. I'm a first-year fitness graduate assistant at the University of Kentucky. So for personal training, we have gone through our risk management for both, as well as group fitness, but they've asked that we only do virtual training with people who have already been training with us in person on campus, mostly because we have a fitness assessment process that we go through and a health screening. So without being able to do that with the current regulations in our state, we have only asked that people who are also updated waivers, so only people that have had updated waivers in the past year, otherwise they have to go through the paperwork again. We use a Qualtrics form for all of that, for that health screening. And then for group fitness, we just have a kind of like a disclaimer. So it's on our Facebook Live page, but then we also have to say it at the beginning of every class that we do instruct online. That's just something that risk management has asked us to do. Did everybody hear me? I'm like radio silence now. Okay, cool.
You're good. Yeah. It looks like someone else commented that they have a platform called Shoreline at UCSB where the university community can register for fitness events, and that provides liability forms that they can create. So that's cool. I know at Texas A&M, we have an assumption of risk statement on our website that we've been approved by through our through HR, and we have that linked with all of our virtual offerings, as well as for our classes. We have our instructors state similar language, as well as something we've been doing recently is we have a slide, like a PowerPoint slide that we have information on before each class regarding equipment, music, and then that liability statement as well. So people can read that in the first 15 minutes before class starts.
Hi, Angie from Bemidji State. So last week I taught my first online yoga class, and I did it through Zoom, and I used the poll feature with the waiver on it, asking people to agree to it before we started class. And I was able to see that 100% of the participants completed the poll, so I didn't have to individually go in and see like who did it, who did and didn't.
That's an awesome idea.
Mm. Oh, okay. So Daniel asked, how do you prevent Zoom bombing? So I know that was a topic of conversation a little bit from our call last week, but at A&M we've experienced it twice, and I've spoken to a lot of people who've experienced it. So if you use Zoom and you do not have anything that's password protected, you will probably have Zoom bombers or Zoom roulette, which is what they're playing. So I recommend you password protect your information, as well as we now are requiring everyone to log in with an authenticated account. So with for us, it's only open to Texas A&M students, faculty, and staff, and they have to use that login with their net ID and password through the university, which also protects Zoom bombers. And then lastly, we have monitors on every one of our classes, so it helps the instructors get another role that they can help with, and they sit down on the class and kind of monitor it. So if they have to remove someone or make sure everyone's muted, that kind of thing, to help with those issues as well.
Rebecca brought up a good point about if there's multiple people in one room for that poll option. It looks like Angie said some phrasing of your language might include all participants in a room acknowledging a waiver versus for the singular participant.
Hello. Hi, this is Sarita from the University of Delaware. Can you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I've got a question with the use of Zoom for group fitness classes. We have also been requiring passwords and posting that information in our in-house portal through Fusion so that they can register. I've come across an issue where several of our instructors are outside employees. So they're like miscellaneous wage, meaning therefore they do not have a University of Delaware email address. Do you guys have instructors that are outside of your university? And in those instances, how are you handling Zoom? Are you creating the classes for them? Because I'm running up against an issue where, let's say I have an hour-long format. In personal Zoom accounts, they are unable to go beyond 45 minutes. If I set up the Zoom meeting, I cannot be in my staff meeting, for example, because I have established a Zoom meeting on behalf of a fitness instructor.
Hi, this is Tony Musto from the University of Miami. Most of our instructors are outside casual workers, we like to call them, temp employees. Mm-hmm. We got very fortunate during this time since our building's closed, a lot of our instructors just started kind of doing their own thing, started teaching, put their own schedule together and volunteering volunteering to teach, just for their fans, I guess you could say.
Mhm.
So we've just been sharing their schedules. We've got permission for them just to share their schedules through our website, and it actually worked out pretty good because we have a nice group fitness schedule of about 23 classes per week, just from our casual worker instructors trying to avoid cabin fever. So we don't set anything up for them. They're doing all their own social media setup, and then what they're doing is just sharing their schedules with us, and then we post it on our website the week prior.
Tony, how long are their classes? Are they within 45 minutes?
Well, some of them are not, but some of them are also going through Instagram or Facebook Live, so they don't have that limit. So
Gotcha.
some of them are an hour. Our one Zoom that I know we do is a meditation, mindful meditation. She only teaches that for about 15 minutes, so that's not an issue. But I think we have a 45-minute Zumba that's also through Zoom, but the rest of them are Instagram or Facebook Live.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
I had a quick question about Instagram or Facebook Live. Sorry, this is Hannah from University of South Florida, St. Petersburg. Wondering, for those of you utilizing your Instagram and Facebook Live features, are you giving your instructors the login and the password to be able to log into that account to go live? Or how does that work? Do you give them permissions to do that?
Hey,
Hi.
this is Scarlett from the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. We are having our instructors and trainers go live from our campus recreation account, just so that they're representing on behalf of the university. And then they are also displaying a link that has, it goes to our group fitness schedule where it is online, and above our group fitness schedule is our full disclaimer as well.
Awesome, thank you. I'm seeing a lot of people adding them as editors on a Facebook page that gives them the ability to go live from there if they're an editor rather than a full administrator.
Hi, this is Ryan from Youngstown State. How's everyone doing?
Great, how are you, Ryan?
Good, thank you. We are going on Facebook Live and Instagram Live with all of our Group X classes and schedule. And when we do that, all the students and non-students have to agree to a social media agreement that they are sending back to me. So it prohibits them from, obviously saying anything negative or derogatory about the university. So that's how we get that approved through our legal and through our marketing team.
Cool, thanks. I wanted to go back to Sarita's question just for a second. I can let you kind of know what we're doing. So we at the University of Mississippi have a departmental Facebook page. Not Facebook, we do have that Zoom account where we scheduled our classes on that Zoom account. And then the manager of our departmental Zoom will go on and be the host of the session so that we can go longer than those 45 minutes. And then make the instructor and the monitor a co-host so that they have the ability to have some administrative access on that Zoom account as well. We did have to create a calendar so that there aren't like overlapping things happening at once, but we all also have our own personal Zoom account. So if there are things that are happening that are less than 45 minutes, we'll try to use the personal Zoom account versus the departmental one. And we're saving that for large audience or over 45-minute calls.
That's a good idea. I'm thinking maybe we all have to do something like that. Our recreations department has a separate UDEL email. So we may have to do it that way, because when I'm personally scheduling the classes for them, I'm unable to either host any classes of my own because I also teach group fitness, but I do it at the same time, or even if I have a department meeting, I'm unable to join in on that meeting if it is during the time that I've scheduled a virtual group exercise class. So thanks for that.
For sure.
Yeah, and Sarita, another thing that we did actually at Texas A&M was create at least for Zoom, we created a separate account. So we did have to pay for the pro account, but we created a separate account. So it wasn't like my personal Zoom account. And that was what the instructors would use to log into. And we set the classes up, and then we gave them the login, and they would just log in and start the class.
Oh, that's a good idea too, because then it would cover me for those outside miscellaneous wage workers that I have who do not have a University of Delaware email address.
Yep.
Great ideas, ladies. Thank you both, Anna and Cheyanne. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Hey, Anna and Cheyanne, can you hear me?
Yes.
And I guess the rest of the group. My name is Brennan Shirk. I'm the managing member of Crew Active. That's KRU Active. And we've got a pretty exciting deal that we're doing for everybody. I'm hearing a lot of the Facebook Live and the Instagram Live and the Zoom. And Crew Active right now is working with a lot of the universities. And what we do is we have a platform that does live streaming. It also records the session so that you can have it banked, so that you can have it on demand for the students. And we can give all the students and the staff their own login identification with their emails and their own passwords, and create a customized channel for every university. And that will allow for the live streaming and again, the recorded sessions, so that we can build a bank of those videos throughout this time of social distancing. There's no charge to it, and you simply just go in to register at crewactive.com, and whatever your university is, that student would just put that affiliation in, and then our techs on our side would go ahead and allow for that channel to open up to those specific students. So it's another option for everybody out there if they're looking for a platform to be able to live stream, but then also to record that session for on demand. If a student or a staff member can't make it to that live class, they can always go in at their own time and find it in the recorded sessions under that university's channel. So I'm happy to put that in the chat box, but it's crewactive.com. And then we also have an app for iOS and Android that the student can do as well. So if they want to do yoga or whatever on their tablet, they can. So.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Yeah, drop links in the chat, everyone. This chat gets saved. So it's super helpful.
Yeah, and it's, I see, Sarita, it's actually crew, KRU, active.com. So I can,
I also think there was, I don't know if it was you who posted, Brennan, but someone in the NIRSA Connect posted this your company as well, information in the NIRSA Connect, I think over the weekend.
yeah, it's a really exciting thing. We also have music rights. I'm not sure if you guys talk about music rights. I don't want to jump, off that, but we work with us, Sync Music International LLC, and we have they have a full library of 1,000 songs that you can use commercially. So I'm not sure if anybody has experienced. We've had a lot of trainers that have been doing the Facebook Live. They're actually getting shut off. The YouTube stuff, they're also getting shut down because they're utilizing top 40 music they don't have the license to. So that's just another thing that through Crew-Active, it's a very confusing thing when people talk about on demand. And we just became associate members, so I apologize. This is everything you guys talked about last week. So I'll try to make it brief. But we can definitely help out if any universities out there have questions about music licensing. I've been in the business for 15 years now. I also own Enduro Cycling studios, so we have 3,000 clubs that we work with. We produce our own videos. So I have to have the publishing rights and the sync rights for that. So if anybody has questions about what the difference between on-demand streaming and live streaming is, those are all different ways of getting the videos out there. But for most of them, you are going to have a music license, especially if you want to continue your channel once this pandemic is over, and you want to be able to share all this content. So those two things that I can help out with everybody. Again, my name is Brennan at Crew-Active. It's the platform for your students and instructors to be able to have their workouts online, and then also any kind of music questions that they might have as far as licensing goes. And we can offer those licenses to you so that you're safe.
Great, thanks, Brennan.
Yep.
He seems like he'll be a great resource to some of us who are still starting to figure some of this out. So maybe you'll get some private messages, Brendan, as we continue on. I saw this come up in the chat. We're going to go right to it. Anna?
Yeah, so accessibility has been brought up a lot on the NIRSA Connect as well as on the Facebook group. So I wanted to mention a little bit about, I know what we're doing at A&M because it was a big topic and we had to figure out what to do to comply. So we right now are currently doing live Zoom classes as well as recorded classes, and we reached out to our disability services and they have basically said, you know, you have to have captioning in some way, shape, or form on everything that you do. So we will have captioning, or we do have captioning in all of our recorded videos. And then for the live classes, we asked if we would be able to just provide information on, for those who need accommodations, to contact us, because you can actually caption live on Zoom. You can turn on live captioning on Zoom. It's not super accurate with a fitness class, but you can also have a captioner, so you can assign someone to type and do the live captioning if needed. So we asked for those requests to be made in 24 hours. So far, we haven't had any, but it does comply with everything, and it's worked for us so far. But has anyone else experienced anything like this or had any issues? I know Cheyanne's got a whole different experience from her side of things too.
Yeah, we talked a lot about the best methods to providing accessibility for our participants in terms of platforms and closed captioning, but then thinking about what other accommodation requests we might potentially get and need to be prepared for. So we're a lot of these questions are going to come from me of what are you all doing to handle these accommodation requests that you may or may not be getting, or how are you prepared for them? What type of closed captioning methods are you doing? Are you outsourcing? Is someone doing it, like Anna said, live? I'm really here looking for some answers.
Hi, Cheyanne.
Hi.
Abby from the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. For our closed captionings, I don't know if it's available through a website or media technology through your university. When we upload our videos onto, it's called Media Hub for UNL, when we upload them, we have an option to give us for closed captioning. And then it also gives us another option to do free, but you have to type them yourself. It's through amara.org, which is kind of a hassle because our website charges us $1 per minute for each closed caption. But right now, what's working for us is we're working around our budget in order to make this possible, because for ADA purposes, we have to have those closed captionings. So it takes about 24 hours for it to process the closed captioning. And then once that is finished, you kind of get an email, and then we upload our video that way through our Campus Rec website. I don't know if there's something similar for you. I can probably drop a link to see if there's something similar at your university, or if it's offered through all, but maybe that will help. I know it's costly, but that's the only thing that I found is working for us right now at the moment.
Awesome. That sounds cool.
I know YouTube does free, or like when you upload videos to YouTube, they do the captioning as well. Just another option.
Is anyone doing potentially different things depending on what platforms they're using? So I know that there's different features via like Instagram, Facebook. It's a little bit easier when they're pre-recorded, but maybe live is a little bit more difficult. If not, that's okay. Students in the comments. I was talking about this earlier, like if you were to close caption a fitness class, it probably would not make a whole lot of sense because you're like giving a directive, then counting down, then good job, then counting again. People will be very confused.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you want to go to the next slide, Anna?
Yeah, sounds great. All right, so staff engagement has been another popular topic. So I know some things we're trying to figure out is how we can stay engaged with our staff in regards to like seniors and appreciation banquets. I know some schools, depending on their size, have talked about doing end of the year banquets with all of their staff. Unfortunately, at Texas A&M, when you have over 1,000 employees, that doesn't really work. But we are doing something for our fitness staff. But what are people doing in regards to banquets or senior recognition and appreciation? We can talk about that first before we get into the next topic.
All right, it's Ryan from YSU again. We're just having everyone submit to me any graduating seniors that are leaving us. We'll submit a picture, an appropriate picture, and a couple statements for a bio and what they're doing after graduation. And we're going to post all that on social media to give them some recognition. And it obviously will go out on our platforms.
Hi, I'm Liv from Adelphi University. For our senior staff and just like staff in general, we usually do a like picnic at the end of the year, but because we are not on campus anymore, we usually do like superlatives and recognition awards. So we will be doing a Zoom meeting and sending the awards as through either the chat feature or through their student email. And just to make sure like the students are still getting recognized and still getting that award. If they want to print it out themselves, they can, but just so they still get that recognition.
This is Mallory from GW. I was wondering if people are still doing evaluations. Usually we do mid-semester and end of semester evaluations, and when mid-semester was supposed to happen was like right when we had to leave campus. So I want there to be consistency in the sense that like a whole semester without data isn't great, but I also don't want to like bother all these students by sending out evaluations. So I'd love to hear if other people are navigating that at all.
I know at Texas A&M, we were right in the same boat. I was in the middle of evaluating my staff. So I had maybe 10 people done. And the way I do my evaluations is for fitness instructors is I film them so that they can watch their class with me and we kind of review it that way. I know everyone's different, but moving forward, I am going to be meeting with the people I've already filmed and going over their videos, like sharing their videos with them. And then since we are doing our live classes via Zoom, I can still continue to evaluate the instructors, obviously with some leniency because there's not going to be people that they're interacting with since it's just them teaching. But then I can also share that recording with them because we have the Zoom classes recorded after the workout. So for group fitness, that's how I'm moving forward with evaluations because I have to have an evaluation on file for every staff every year in order to give promotions and pay increases. So that's the best way around it that I can see now.
Yeah, similar to Anna. Hi, everyone. This is Amy Michael, graduate assistant from Purdue University, Purdue Rickwell, for Fitness Ops and Services. I oversee all the personal training staff there. Similar to Anna, as I was mentioning, we're required to evaluate all our staff for pay raises and appraisals. So that's something that I was just getting ready to do right before everything was, going south. And then of course it happened. So we had to think on the fly of how we could adjust it. Typically we would evaluate a personal trainer by going to one of their sessions with the permission of a client. We would evaluate some of their practical programming skills, but also their client interaction, and then meet with them after one-on-one and discuss how they did and how they can improve. Since we can't meet them in person, and not all of them are training a client virtually, it's hard to evaluate them. So we restructured to make sure that it still stayed in with Purdue's guidelines, where they kind of have criteria for everyone at the university, like here are kind of like some dimensions you have to assess, but we restructured the wording and the verbiage so we could assess other things. So we're taking this time to have them brush up on like discussing assessments. Are they able to recite our services? Are they able to know our training policies that we have on our intake form? So we're using this time to maybe not brush up as much on their client interaction skills, but more so the skills of knowing our job, knowing their services, and also all their programming is online. So we're still able to review their programming that way and give them feedback.
Awesome.
And I think this topic, or these last 2 points, were something that Anna and I discussed a lot. So like, what are we doing in terms of trainings, meetings, and evaluations? And are we using continuing education content that's out there? Are we still planning in services? Like, what does all of that look like? So we would love to hear about what you guys are doing.
I guess I'll jump in real quick. I know someone mentioned the TRX certification, the free one that's going around. So we've reached out to our group fitness instructors and told them about that. And then anyone who's in the area, we're like lending them TRX straps and equipment, just because you need that to complete the certification. And so we have quite a few people that are still in the Lexington area where UK's at. So we've been providing them that. And then really our instructors have just been a huge funnel of information for each other. They're always sending like new certifications or webinars and different things. And there's so much going on. Even outside of fitness, there's just a lot of like TED Talks and webinars that are happening. And that's been our biggest thing for them to get their continuing education. And then of course, I've been pushing the NIRSA webinars for people to hop on to learn a little more.
I know one of the things we're doing too is creating a document for our staff of just a list of all of the online platforms that are doing like online certifications or discounted certifications. I know like Bar Intensity is a bar certification that was offering like a name your price bar certification, where you could put in you could put in whatever you could afford, and then they would determine yes or no kind of for their certification. But there's many more out there that are doing it. I know Tori was talking about it on the Collegiate Fitness Directors page today. There were some comments about that as well. So there are resources out there, and some are offering discounts, some are still regular price, but I think pushing those resources is good too.
Hi, this is Hillary from Cardio Sport. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yep. So just because you guys are in the middle of talking about it, just so you're aware, I know many of you guys, some of you guys I don't know, but we are doing virtual workshops. So if anyone's interested, and we're actually we have an on-demand service that an average person can sign up for a monthly basis. So we're giving that free to all students who are registered for on-demand workshops, and we do have discounted rates and all that stuff. So if anyone's interested in learning more, I'll just put my information in the comments and you guys can reach out to me.
Thanks, Hillary.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Oh, this is going fast. I'm trying to copy and paste all of these questions.
CC posted a lot of good links. Yeah, with YouTube channels for paying instructors for continuing education. Exactly. That's good. Those are good resources.
Oh, CC, nice.
No problem.
Yes.
Something else we're doing, just so you guys know, if I could chime in on the continuing education thing. So we have a current instructor that she is registered through ACE to provide continuing educations for our instructors. So she paid the $250 to ACE and gets her courses registered to that. If you didn't know, you can also do that through ACE or AFA or NASM or all of those entities. I don't know what everybody's budget looks like, but we are actually going to try it out in the next 2 weeks and have an online Zoom continuing education where she is providing the content. It's actually about knees and the title is kind of funny. It's called Knee, Clear as Mud, but she has had a lot of experience in referring people with either her clientele or people that she has seen an instructor in her classes to physicians and how to go about helping them through that process. So that's what her Con Ed is going to be online with our instructors for next week. So they'll get CEUs for that actually through ACE.
That's cool. Yeah, cycle.
That's awesome. Oh, go ahead, sorry.
Nope, you got it.
I saw Lydia posted that they're paying her students for their scheduled classes through the end of the semester and encouraging them to participate in live recorded. That's really awesome.
Yeah. Someone asked a question about cycle classes. I said the same thing. Cycle's my favorite class to teach. And I was like, man, I wish I could like pretend to cycle at home. I don't have a bike. I did see that not university recreation centers, but some like studios were renting out their bikes to members. But I don't know how else we'd be able to do cycle at home.
Yeah, I just got one today from a local studio. They're renting bikes for $75 a week, and it's $150 deposit. I was like, oh, I don't know if I can afford that. But
yeah, Cheyanne, just trip in on the cycling certification, because right now with social distancing, Enduro Cycling, that's INDRO Cycling, they have a BPM cycle, which is kind of a beat-based. It's safe and effective. That's been reviewed by AFA, NITA, ACE, and NASM. And they're doing an online, and they're doing 50% off right now, so it's only $99. You get 7 CECs. So if anybody ever wanted to do a beat-based style of ride that's safe, not with all the silly tricks and handstands, but safe and effective beat-based style, they can go to endurocycling.com and get more information there too. So it'd be a good time to get your CECs. It's a total of 7. And you can just do it online, watch videos. So you'll be able to add that to your teaching style. So that might be a good option for people looking for CECs right now.
Cool. Thanks.
Yep.
All right. So this is something
cool.
that.
So yeah, I am really interested. You know, we all are obviously trying to promote our programming and for our community and our students, but interested in how other universities are helping out the community, especially those local gyms. So, you know, the ones that maybe some of you all teach at part-time that have had to close. You know, a lot of them are also offering online classes or platforms or things like that. Are you all helping them out in any way, kind of, you know, to collaborate as a community coming together, you know, instead of looking at them as maybe not enemies, but as, you know, kind of working against each other, but working together to better the community. Just curious to know if anyone has other ideas on engaging the community in different things you're doing or promoting.
This is Haley Sorensen from Northwest College in Wyoming. We actually just did a collaboration with a local fitness studio, Club Dauntless here. And what we did is I teach for both of them and I work for the college, but I teach for Club Dauntless as well. And we created a website that has virtual wellness resources. I know tons of other campuses and colleges are doing that, but I listed all of the fitness classes that Club Dauntless is doing, but I also looked at every local gym in the area. For some of you, it might be really hard, but we're pretty rural here, so it was pretty easy for me to have 5 gyms and look at what they're doing. But I just listed all the free stuff that they were offering the community. I wanted to make sure that it wasn't you didn't need a membership, but all of the free stuff every gym was doing, and that is on Northwest College's website, where students or employees or anybody looking at it can look at virtual wellness resources and look at what the communities are doing. I know like Nike Training Club, Peloton, and stuff like that are options as well, but I wanted to show what community stuff we're doing so people can continue to support their communities.
Yes. That's awesome.
And I think this goes largely, kind of Kathy talked about this, that her like actual rec center is largely community based. So involving other studios in the community that also might serve your members, or other different things in the community that are serving maybe the members of your rec facility.
Yeah.
I know that here at Ole Miss, we have what's called a double-decker 5K. So it's like over our Arts Festival weekend, there's a 5K, and that was postponed. So through some of you can see my supervisor just chatted that through her awesome efforts, she has picked up hosting a virtual 5K instead of the one that was supposed to happen. So I think that will be really exciting. Maybe Carrie will want to talk about it. Maybe.
Yeah, so we are collaborating with Ole Miss Outdoors, our intramural sports and sport clubs program area, as well as the tourist and visiting bureaus who are in charge of the double-decker art festival, which that's now been moved to August, but we still thought we would want to host the 5K on the same day that everybody was training for anyway. So there's a website that's created for it, registration. I think we had over 50 people within the first couple hours the website was up. And basically you just check in on that day and go for your regular 5K. We're encouraging all of the social distancing that should be occurring while they're doing this 5K, and they'll just report their times through the website. So basically letting people still run their distances that they were training for and not have all of that training go out the window. But we did make it more of a departmental collaboration. So there's about 3 or 4 assistant directors working with the Lafayette Oxford University community to be able to host this for everyone.
Thanks for talking about it, Carrie.
Awesome. I know Virginia Tech is doing one as well. They're 3.2 for 32, which I'm VT alum, so I'm excited about because I get to participate in this year. So, Liz, I love the alumni idea. So she's saying that they're working with our alumni office to offer online fitness classes to alumni. So that's really awesome.
I think, Anna, to your point of you now get to participate in that 3.2 for 32. This has kind of been a question on my mind. How many of these virtual things that we're forced to start because of COVID-19 are going to last? So do you think next year when Virginia Tech can do their 3.2 for 32 in person, you think they'll still offer a virtual option to now engage people across the country?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's one of the things that's been on my mind too, is like this summer for our university, they've already said that summer classes are going to be online. So, you know, we're trying to figure out now, are we going to offer in-person and online classes this summer? You know, most likely. So it's exciting while also challenging at the same time.
I know I'm participating in the I'm going to try in the 3.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to try. I saw that Jamie's doing it against the other schools in Wisconsin. And then,
that's cool.
Yeah, if you want to talk about that. And then Shayna, you're up next talking about these virtual training plans that you're offering for your 5Ks. Let's hear it.
Hi. Sorry, I have kids around, so if you hear them clinking around, I apologize. So yeah, we just got everything finalized today for our virtual run/walk. We originally were going to do a 5K, but then after meeting and talking, we were like, well, our goal is really just to get people out moving, right? So we didn't want to add like a distance to it. So the sign up form that we have has different distances that they could end up going to, 1 mile, 5K, 10K, or other, whatever they want to do. They can either run it or they can walk it. And then we're having them do it 1 week. So we chose the week after Easter. So like the 19th, I think, to the 26th. And then we had one of the people that's in NIRSA is a graphic designer. So they made a virtual bib and a virtual t-shirt. And then we created our own hashtag. So then people could go through and tag us on all their social media posts, and then register for the event through our website, so we can kind of keep track of who is joining and from what school and institution. And then it was posted on our WIRSA page and also posted on our website for my institution as well. And I shared the link on there, so people should see it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, a step challenge. I like that. And 100-mile run. Did you see that?
Yeah, I know our university is our faculty staff wellness program is called Flourish, and they are partnering with Fitbit and they give discounted Fitbits to faculty and staff. So if you do work with faculty staff, reach out to Fitbit to see maybe if you could do some sort of partnership with them. But we're doing a step challenge as well. It's called going the social distance, I think, or something like that.
That's funny.
Anna from Smithfield College, I can elaborate a little bit on the 100-mile challenge. So what we realized is we were actually doing a in-person cycle challenge before this whole thing started, where we had participants tracking their miles every class and then writing it down on a clipboard that I provided in the front of the classes, so that every week they actually could see how long their miles were going. And it was a very successful program. Unfortunately, because we're no longer doing those classes, we had to stop the program. So what we realized was, because it was so successful in person, we wanted to continue some type of engagement that way. So we wanted to do some type of, okay, let's get them outside, let's get them moving, where they don't need a piece of equipment, but they can still be engaged. Now, the issue was we had some participants who were really into running, which is fantastic, but then we had others that were like, I'm not competing with the marathon runners in a step challenge because there's no way I'll even make it close to like even winning. So what we did was we usually do this every year for the faculty, but it's based really on honesty. And it usually works pretty well. And we have people track their daily steps on like an Excel sheet. We send them a Google sheet so they can do their daily tracking. And then the end of April, they're supposed to send us in their full tracking sheet and identify if they want to compete with students, like as a student or as a faculty and staff. And then it's my responsibility to go in and kind of see where everyone landed. Mind you, I am at a D3 school, so like in comparison to some of the bigger schools, I know this might be a little different. You may want to make some more categories or, add a little more rules with that. With our 100-mile challenge, we are doing it through, I believe it's pronounced Strava. It's a fitness app. And what's cool is it is its own little running group. And what happens is once you put yourself within the group, all you kind of have to do is track your route like you would with like a MyFitnessPal. But it can be a cycle challenge. So if you have people who are biking a lot outdoors, you can have a group for them. You can have your running group. So basically anytime you log in a route, it would add your miles in individually, but then you also get to see yourself on a leaderboard. For that one, we really kind of just trying to have people run the 100 miles within the month of April. It's not like within a week. We do have participants who are avid runners. So we have people who are already within that 50, 60 miles within the week alone. But it's cool to kind of see how people are competing with one another. But the nice part about it is it shows local routes. So people, instead of saying, okay, let's go run with me, it's more like, this is the route I took. You may want to consider going to this route. It's nice, it's open, and you can kind of talk to one another. But it's also a way for us to keep community, because you can like give each other kudos, like likes for the routes, and like comment like good job and stuff like that. And we're really seeing the students engage a lot that way, more than we even really expected. So seeing that kind of engagement has been really nice for us.
Awesome.
That's awesome. So there's a couple people on this call who participated in this, but similar to kind of what you are talking about with your 100,000 challenge or something really far distance that I'll never be able to accomplish. We did what was called Miles to Madness at my school. The University of Miami participated in it. And it's, now that I posted that, I'm like, man, that's perfect for this virtual time. And it's kind of the same thing. You're just competing to see who can rack up the most miles. And so what we did was we used a Google form, and we had a QR code that was on all of our cardio in the facility, but that link could be like on your Facebook page or on a link tree, wherever you wanted to put that link. And then they similarly track it, and they have to take a picture of their fitness tracker or like the health app on their phone to kind of verify. So should they put that they ran 600 miles, I can be like, you put too many zeros, you meant 6. I can verify with that to kind of help with the honesty factor.
Cool.
I saw in the messages that someone asked about the if Strava was a paid app. I actually am not the one who's in charge of that specific group, but the person who is in charge of it at Springfield College stated that however he did it is free. If you want to know more information about it, basically he just made it through a run club. But I guess overall, as long as you have it through a profile, from my understanding, I'm trying to communicate with him through this as a messenger owl here, that it shouldn't be an issue. But he also said he did communicate with someone involved on their tech team, and they were very helpful. So if you do have questions about it, just by contacting them, they should be able to help you out at this time.
Cool. So we kind of just want to open up the floor and end to kind of get an idea for what we might need to talk about next time, because there will be another one of these coming. So we want to make these as helpful for you all as possible. So this is kind of, we just want to hear what roadblocks have you been facing at your institution that maybe you need some help on, and hearing from your peers might make these roadblocks, might get you some potential answers. And this could be in terms of like, I can't pay my student staff, or like, for me, I couldn't figure out a way to do closed captioning. So I kind of got some of those answers today. So we just want to hear from you what you need from this next roundtable.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, we can.
Okay, so I don't know how to turn my camera on. I've been going from Teams to Zoom to like FaceTime stuff. So I'm like, we're gonna do it this way. So I am University of North Georgia. We might eventually get to a point where some of our students, we can pay them virtually for certain things with planning and stuff. I know eventually those hours will run out. I think in terms of, maybe I'm talking just at a graduate assistant level, I'm a second year, but it's kind of a roadblock I'm hitting is the planning with staff in a series of transition. Like, what are people preparing? What are things they're putting in place, whether it's going through this like digital transition, things that we can relay on to potentially next year, kind of helping those in a time where some of our events were canceled. So I think maybe that doesn't make sense altogether, but I think as I come up to graduate, the virtual graduation this May, and then potentially a delay in if we don't get a graduate assistant in time, or just like the training comes over, like the preparation that some universities are taking on that for the fall, whether it's coming from a pro staff who's helping their GA to prepare for next fall, or second year GAs on how they're helping or what they're gathering to get ready for their next move.
All right, so transition seems to be a hot topic for next time. And I think we can talk about that on a lot of levels. So that's awesome.
I have a question. This is Kendra at Sac State. And my question, I have two questions. One, will we be able to view the transcripts of this afterwards? And the reason is I missed a little tidbit. So if this was asked and answered, I apologize. But we've noticed on the MindBody website, and we've seen somebody do it, that they're providing the opportunity to do videos and virtual videos. And I was wondering if anybody uses those. I know that more and more solutions are presenting themselves. And so, in the next meeting, maybe more of us have this figured out and could share their successes as well.
Yeah. I don't think we've specifically talked about the MindBody app. So maybe people on this call will be able to reach out to you and give you more specifics on that.
Okay.
I saw Lauren posted in the chat about licensing. We didn't talk about licensing so much on this call, but more on our first roundtable. So keep dropping those questions in the chat, and I'm copying them all down, and I'm sure Anna's grabbing some too, and we will use these to talk about topics in our next roundtable, which you can see here. We changed the time and the day on you this time. Hopefully get some other people that maybe couldn't attend this time slot. So it'll be next Thursday, April 16th at 2 p.m. Pacific time. So if you're living in the central time zone with me, that is 4. But our contact information is on this slide. I always do that. I point at the slide, like you can see where I'm pointing. Contact information is on this slide. Feel free to reach out to us with specific questions, topic ideas, or whatever that might be. A couple plugs. There's so many more virtual roundtables happening. Make sure that you attend those. There's also a virtual coffee hour, which I will be attending, and I'm so excited to have coffee with some of my colleagues. And then if you haven't seen on NIRSA Connect and the NIRSA website, Bluefish Jobs and NIRSA are hosting a career fair, a virtual career fair, the week of April 20th. So they're looking for volunteers to help with resume review, cover letters, all the things, talk to a pro, talk to a GA that you would see in the Career Center at an annual conference. So if you're looking to connect with your colleagues in a different way, check that out. And if you have questions on that, you can ask myself or Anna, and we can help you with those. I'm going to unshare my screen, so make sure you take a picture of our contact information. And I just want to see all of your faces before I say goodbye. But thanks for joining us once again for the Fitness Roundtable, and we look forward to seeing you next Thursday. Have an awesome week, everyone. Happy Monday. I hope it's sunny where you are. And we'll talk to you next week.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
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 Be safe.